Hello and welcome to the Tournament Center. I'm Randy Buehler and it is time for a deck tech with Scott-Vargas. Now, LSV is running by far the defining deck of this format. Everybody knew coming in this was the deck to beat, and tell us about it. This is Jund. Walk us through somebody who maybe hasn't played a lot of Standard. What's the big deal about this deck?
The reason Jund's like the baseline deck is Blightning, Bloodbraid Elf, Bituminous Blast.
Okay.
Basically, those are all 2-for-1s. Basically, every card in the deck just about is a 2-for-1.
Okay.
Sprouting Thrinax, Broodmate Dragon, and then you've got, I guess, spot removal like Lightning Bolt, Terminate, and Maelstrom Pulse. And yeah, the deck's really tough to beat. It attritions very well.
Now, was this the deck you expected to play when you started playtesting for the format, or how did that work out?
No, not at all. Did everything in my power not to play this deck.
Really?
But this deck still had the best percentages, I thought, and that's why we ended up playing it.
So you wanted to beat this, you wanted to find something better,
and we threw all sorts of decks against it, and it just, even decks specifically designed to beat this deck just didn't. So
wow.
This Jund doesn't have really that much of a weak point to attack. It's not like Dredge, where you sided a bunch of graveyard hit, you'll beat Dredge.
Okay.
Jund is just playing a bunch of good cards. Historically, good stuff's decks weren't that good, but they're in this format, the good stuff is good enough that they are.
Yeah, I mean, there's no degenerate plan with a plan B. It's more like, I'll shuffle this up, I'll draw some good cards and see what happens, right?
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, casting a card for a green or red and 2 that makes them take 3 damage, discard 2 cards, and is a 3/2 haste. Yeah. That's above the power level of almost every Magic card. So,
fair enough. Now, do you have any special tech here? Like, what was your take on the Jund archetype?
We're playing Master of the Wild Hunt instead of Garruk, which is pretty useful. A lot of the ways people beat Jund or try to beat Jund are protection guys like Sable, Stag, White Knight, and he just kills them with wolves.
Okay.
He's also really good with Oran-Riefs, which are hidden among the lands there, which pump up your wolves. And then
sure.
We're not playing Putrid Leeches, which...
Yeah, no Putrid Leeches, right?
They're not very good in the mirror, and they're not that great against red-white, so we put in an extra Broodmate, extra Terminate, and some Borderland Rangers.
Okay.
And so far I like it.
I've seen a lot of the Japanese players also chose to run Jund this week, and probably a similar thing, right? I was kind of expecting them to be the ones who could break the format and find the deck that could beat Jund. And I walk by, I see them shuffling up Jund cards, and I'm like, all right, fair enough.
Well, they're actually also not playing Putrid Leech.
That was where I was going with that.
Yeah,
right?
They're playing Rampant Growths and Siege Gang Commanders.
Okay.
In the Putrid Leech Master of the Wild Hunt slot, I guess, whatever.
Do you still like your Masters, though?
Yeah. I mean, if you get out Master before they get out Siege Gang, they can't really play Siege Gang because you're going to get a wolf and then kill their Siege Gang. Then they have 3 1/1s and you're making a wolf every turn. So
fair enough. Now tell me about the sideboard. Like, what's the tech after sideboarding?
I actually really like the sideboard, and it works for the matchups we want it to work. The mirror, you side in Ruinblasters and Stags, and then the one Mind Rod is the 5th Blightning.
Okay.
You have Jund Charms, which are good for both their Pyroclasm effect against red-white, and to kill the graveyard of the Hedron Crab Cryptovagadim deck, which I did play once actually.
I saw that deck. There was one guy at 3-0 with that deck. How good is that one? Good.
Yeah, the deck's actually pretty good. When things go badly for it doesn't do anything, and none of its cards do anything. That's the weak part.
Okay.
But when things go well, it can ignore most every deck in the format, and just beat them very easily. So
sure. Bloodwitch?
That's for all the green-white decks. They can't path
white.
it, they can't journey it, and it blocks Baneslayer Angel, Knight of the Reliquary.
There you go.
So that sort of thing. Burst Lightning is additional spot removal against red-white. So
now, what was the field you were expecting coming in this weekend?
Jund is the most played deck for sure.
Right.
Followed by probably red-white.
Okay.
And then green, white, or mono green variants, like both elves and green, white, probably the next tier, and then some crab deck, and then a bunch of random decks.
And now we're in about round 5 as we film this. How has the actual format matched up with your expectations?
Well, I played against the crab deck.
Okay.
I played against 3 Jund decks.
3 Junds, fun.
Yeah, and then round 1. I don't even remember what I played against round 1.
Okay.
But it wasn't one of the bigger decks that I expected. So.
Okay. So a bunch of Jund mirrors, which can't be a lot of fun, right?
No, not so much. The Jund mirrors haven't been treating me well.
Is there a trick to how you play that mirror? I mean, you're going to run into it a lot if you choose to play this deck, right?
Cascade well, Blightning them a lot.
Yeah, it looks like it is. I mean, a lot of mirrors get kind of
It comes down to
sometimes.
last man standing a lot, so you hope Broodmate's not in your opening hand, you hope it's on top of your deck and you draw it turn 6. Because if it's in your opening hand, you probably have to discard it to a Blightning.
Fair.
But if you just peel it, it's really good, and so...
All right, any last words of advice for somebody looking for a Friday Night Magic deck? Or
yeah, this is a very good deck. You can't really go wrong with Jund, I don't think.
There you go. Defining deck of the format. Jund has had the target on its forehead all day. A lot of people doing well with it. Some people may be struggling through with mirrors. Going to be a fun weekend, but we'll probably see at least a couple copies of this on Sunday playing for top 8. Stay tuned. We'll bring you more from dailymtg.com.